I tried. I really did try. I saw this video a week ago. I wanted to make a video on it. Then I decided against that, but I just couldn't get it out of my head. It was stuck to me like a virus. So now I'm here. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this video, but I don't care. I need to get it out of my mind somehow.
What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the unbelievably unflappable Dr. Disaster. And several days ago, we talked about the fact that the reveal trailer for Battlefield 6 did not feature a single female in it.
Not even a minute into the video, and he just kind of shot himself in the foot. Well, by normal people's perspectives, not by his audience's perspective, obviously. Women in Battlefield is not the main subject of the video, but it's what he fills most of the video with. Like, it's gonna take him a bit to actually really start talking about the main subject of the video. So just wait a sec. Also, his footage is obviously not purple.
Which was in stark contrast to what we saw with this Battlefield 5 reveal trailer back in 2018.
That is one big pile of shit.
As you can see here from the reveal trailer of Battlefield 5, just about the first thing that they showed you, despite the fact that the franchise has always prided itself in realism and the game was being set in World War II, the first thing they showed you though was a freaking female soldier running around and fighting as if this was perfectly normal. And of course, when gamers complained about it, when we ratioed the hell out of that trailer, EA infamously told us that if you don't like it, don't buy it.
What's interesting to me is that there obviously was female soldiers in World War II, but obviously not every army did it. It was still a majority of men, as it still is nowadays. I do actually agree with him here to a point that, it was still a mostly male affair, as it still is nowadays. But at the same time, like, from what I've seen, more people complained about the historical inaccuracies in the trailer rather than just the fact it was a woman, unlike what he's doing, where it very much is just the fact that they showed a woman. Like, I see more people complaining about her robotic arm than her actually just being a woman.
Who is this person who speaks to me as though I needed his advice?
Well, now fast forward to present time, and I noted that in the reveal trailer for Battlefield 6, which came out a couple weeks ago, I did not see a single female soldier in it, which says an awful lot about the way that the culture has swung. I asked you guys in that video that I made talking about this subject if you had noticed any female soldiers in it that I simply hadn't noticed. And the only thing that people said that they noticed was that in the background, while the video was playing, you could hear female soldiers shouting and whatnot. It seemed that as far as marketing purposes went, EA must have learned a painful truth for them to swallow as it pertains to gaming.
It's a man's world.
But while it looks as though EA might have learned this lesson, the community managers for Battlefield 6 are still filled with the same progressive shitheels who can't stand anyone questioning their worldview. This post here on X has been making the rounds, and it shows that someone was banned from the Battlefield 6 community hub for simply asking for the option to disable female voice lines. And for anyone out there who gets offended by simply asking for something like this, I'm gonna let the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger give out some pretty good advice.
Stop being such a pussy!
This is the main topic of the video. This guy asked for female voice lines to have a toggle to turn them off and on in the settings menu, and he got banned on the community hub for it. I don't know what this guy was expecting exactly. Like, maybe a ban might be going a little bit far for it. I mean, it's not a very aggressive message, but at the same time, it still is pretty sexist. Also, I do want to cover that little bit at the end there. How exactly is anyone pussy for getting offended by this when the guy who asked it in the first place can't play a video game because he's hearing women talking to him? Fictional women, mind you. Like, they don't even have names in the beta, so it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I can't even come up with anything here, because it's just it's the dumbest thing. You hear a feminine voice say reload, and suddenly you have to go complain on the forums. I mean, at least he asked for a toggle and not just say, hey, remove all female voice lines in the game. Also, your eyes didn't deceive you there. He does throw a dance party in the middle of his video asking you to subscribe. Like, if it was just... if it lasted till the subscribe thing went away, I think it'd be a little bit better, but it lasts for like 25 seconds, and he still goes on about asking you to subscribe afterwards, so it's just... It feels like a lot, but hey, it's his video, and I got him to almost 150k subscribers.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I've begun uploading some content onto Rumble, so make sure you follow Dr. Disaster over there, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference, but anyhow, let's talk about this Battlefield 6 situation. Going into this topic, I want to be as nuanced as possible because on the one hand, there will be people saying that actually EA has not learned anything and we can't stop pushing back against them, while other people are going to be pointing out that this game, that Battlefield 6, at least based on what we have seen thus far, does not appear to be woke. It appears to be a far cry from what we saw with the last mainline Battlefield title. There is a reason that while the Battlefield 5 reveal trailer was ratioed into oblivion where it belongs, the Battlefield 6 trailer has very few dislikes on it. There are 9.3 million views currently, with over 500,000 likes to only about 15,000 dislikes. To put it quite simply, somebody at EA clearly got the message. The people who work at the company might not like it, but they understand that this shit right here does not sell. Battlefield fans did not want this. And the crazy thing is that while Battlefield 5 took place in a World War II setting where the sight of female soldiers fighting was extremely anachronistic to the point that it completely ruined the experience,
I can understand how, female soldiers, it's not, they were very rare for the time. The only army in World War II that actually had women on the front lines was Russia. But at the same time, how does female soldiers in the game ruin the entire experience? I feel like you didn't even play Battlefield 5. You just saw women and went like, ugh, disgusting. It kind of sounds like you're saying that the sight of a female soldier in Battlefield 5 was the equivalent of seeing like Beavis and Butthead in Call of Duty, but it's not. Hell, when you're playing the game, you probably don't even notice their genders at all. I've been playing Battlefield 6 a lot, and I have not heard a single male or female death line because I'm just everything else is happening while I'm playing Battlefield 6 that I don't even hear any voice lines other than like command every so often. On top of that, I've heard really good things about Battlefield 5. There might have had some hiccups at the beginning, but from what I hear, a lot of people wish that DICE stuck with Battlefield 5 instead of making 2042, that they just kind of kept updating it until Battlefield 6, just completely ignoring 2042 with the abysmal state that game launched in.
Battlefield 6 is from a more modern setting. These days, it is of course quite plausible that you would see and hear female soldiers in battle, and yet they went out of their way in this trailer to make sure that we didn't see a single female soldier in it. That says an awful lot about how they wanted to market that game. Battlefield 5 put this right here on the cover of the game back in 2018.
Well, at least I'm not a girl!
Jesus Christ. He discovered it. He discovered what they were trying to hide. The reason Battlefield 5 performed so poorly was purely because there was a woman on the box art. It's... Jesus Christ. The CIA needs to recruit him. He can find what no other man can. He is the detective of our lifetime. In all seriousness, I genuinely believe this guy has a no girls allowed sign on his door.
And in this new title, I've hardly seen any females in any footage of the game. That being said, it is true that many, and in fact, likely most of the people who made Battlefield 5 and who defended that game, it's likely that most of them are still working at the company, and they are most likely seething at the fact that their views have now been pushed into the background.
The only thing in the background here is that fucking radiator you have on high in the background. What the hell is that sound? I feel... I didn't even hear this when I first recorded the video. There's no lawnmowers or anything outside of my house, and I didn't have a mic plugged in, so it has to be coming from you. What the hell is that constant humming sound coming from your mic?
And now the emphasis is on the actual game. My guess is that this marketing decision to try to appeal to male gamers was passed down from somewhere on high, but the community managers are usually some of the most terrible employees for any company. They are often the most vocal about their progressive views, to the point that they are simply out of control, which is why we see this shit right here. This tweet features a screenshot of someone showing that they were banned from the Battlefield 6 community hub. And it shows the post which got this person banned. They said, "Give us the option in the settings menu to disable female voice lines, yelling, and death sounds in the multiplayer, please." Now, that was extremely respectful. He even said please, for Pete's sake.
Okay, I learned this trick from a channel called Think Before You Sleep. He is a right-wing YouTuber. He talks about a lot of things, and he taught me this trick. So let's change up the language a little bit here. Let's say that this guy, instead of asking for female voice lines to be removed, he instead asked for, hey, can we remove all references towards black people to be removed? Have a toggle that removes all black people from the game, please. Does that sound respectful? Does that sound very... No, it obviously, it sounds racist as shit. Also, saying please doesn't automatically make something polite. Like, you can use any piece of language passive-aggressively, and please is one of those that can absolutely be used in the most passive-aggressive ways imaginable. So, him adding please does not make it polite.
And honestly, that is completely understandable to not want to hear females dying in the background of this game. As a man myself, I don't like the idea of hearing female soldiers dying in the background. The whole point of me fighting in a war, if I were to do that, would be to protect women and children. That's how I feel as a man from a very primal perspective. So, hearing them shouting out affects that primal part of me deep down. Personally, it isn't enough for me to say that I wouldn't play the game, but I can see why someone would ask for this option, and if the option was available, I would certainly choose it.
You see, ladies, I don't want you out of my games because I'm sexist, but it's actually because I'm just so nice. Also, the primal male instincts that you don't fucking have that, or if you did, you lost it later that day because you made this video on the exact same day as this one. I watched the entire video. He never once brings up about how he feels uncomfortable seeing the female characters just get absolutely decimated by, like, male characters at all. The female characters in that game have pain sounds. They make moans when they get defeated and stuff, and it's a lot more brutal than it is in Battlefield. In Battlefield, it's like 3 bullets to the chest. In Street Fighter, it's them getting decimated by 10,000 punches in, like, 5 seconds. And there's a lot... The men in Street Fighter are absolute units. There is not one man in the game... Well, actually, there is exactly one man in the game that isn't just this brick shithouse of muscle. The only time a female character in Street Fighter is in the same weight class as their opponent is when it's another female character. Like, all the men are absolute units of muscle. They can, like, if it was any way realistic, they could, like, one-shot all the female characters with a single punch. Like, it is absolutely just jarring, the differences in designs there. Also, Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, they both got bikini skins on the same day, and a character in Tekken 8, Asuka, got a bikini skin where it showed off that she is very musculature. And if you've seen a very muscular woman, you know that they kind of get some more broad shoulders and stuff. But, like, she's still very clearly a woman. So, and he brings up in that Street Fighter video that, oh, they made her look like a man. She looks like a woman, looks like her head was just put on the body of a man with boobs, which is like, no, it's very clearly not that. Also, Asuka is not the only female character in Tekken 8. There is like 13 others that have similar body types to Cammy, Chun-Li, and other normal Street Fighter characters. Speaking of which, in Street Fighter 6, there is also a very muscular woman who very much does not look traditionally feminine. Hell, she looks more masculine than Asuka herself.
However, as you can see on this post, where they give the reason for the ban, it says hateful speech. These people are just plain jackasses. Where in the hell was the hate in this guy's question?
Alright, humor me for a second. In D&D, when you roll the dice, it's because there needs to be a potentiality for failure. If it's things like punching an enemy, you roll. If you're sneaking around, you roll. If you're walking up a staircase, you don't roll because there's no need to make a fail state there. It adds nothing to the story if you have to roll to go up a staircase. If your DM makes you roll to walk up a staircase or get off a horse, it's because they're trying to humiliate you, essentially. The same thing kind of applies to toggles. You make a toggle because that thing could be problematic, like excessive gore. That might make someone queasy. It might be bad for a content creator, copyright music, bad for content creators and stuff. So yeah, there's toggles for those. So if you have a toggle to remove female voice lines, it's because the female voice lines there's something apparently wrong with them. And if somebody has an issue with just the existence of female voice lines, it's probably because they're sexist. It's not hard logic. You don't need to dig very far to figure this out.
This guy very politely asked them for an option, and they could have politely refused, or even just given him a warning and said that it was inappropriate. But no, these power-tripping turds decided to reach for the ban hammer. And this isn't the only example of these people causing issues on the community hub. Someone replied to that first post, which was posted by ex-user Pirate Nation, but they replied to it with this image here, where someone shows they received a warning for talking about not wanting any LGBT gender crap featured in the game. And to be honest, if I were the moderators of this community hub, I would think that this message here would be much more justifiable to ban than the first one that I showed you, because this one is much more aggressive and it comes off as much less courteous. Not that I think it crossed the line, mind you, but it definitely has a much more aggressive tone in any case.
With the exception of the last part there, I actually do agree with him. I feel the first post that, it is to a degree somewhat nice because, they're not asking for the complete removal. They're just asking for an option, which at the same time still kind of screwed up, but I mean, you're not asking for it to no longer exist. Unlike this guy who just wants the LGBT stuff completely removed. I would ban him. I don't know why Dr. Disaster wouldn't, because there's really no reason to exclude the LGBT stuff. Like, I get it, like, a soldier's not going to be running around the battlefield waving a pride flag around, but, they might have, like, maybe a rainbow patch on, like, their satchel or something. But at the same time, the only difference between a straight soldier and a gay soldier is that the gay soldier, they aren't lying about sucking the CO's dick.
What this tells me is that the change that we've seen in Battlefield 6 with regards to how they have marketed it is at a surface level. It is a surface level fix, but there are certainly still issues festering below in the company. Hopefully the people developing this game, though, keep that shit in check, because honestly, I don't care what someone's political opinion is as long as they keep it to themselves and don't try to push it on me in the game or in the marketing for the game.
You think muscular women are a political statement?
So far, their approach to marketing Battlefield 6 has worked really well. There were nearly 280,000 people waiting in queue to play the Battlefield 6 early access beta. That doesn't even include the people who were playing it, mind you. That was just the queue to get in and play it. This game is going to break records, potentially, and I think this is evidence that marketing this sort of product to males who have been starved for a game like this getting back to basics, but doing this, marketing this way, is a pretty damn good idea. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your contempt for these community managers who ban people because of their hurt fees into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks.
Not wanting hate speech in your video game is not a sign of hurt feelings. It's a sign of you caring for the community. If this guy cannot play the game because he can't turn off female voices, then I don't think it's marketed towards him. And his comment section is filled exactly with what you think it is. There's even some people in it that admitted to canceling their pre-order because this guy got banned. That is crazy to me. First off, I'm surprised you pre-ordered anything in 2025. Second off, I'm surprised you canceled that deluxe pre-order because someone you've never met and will possibly never even encounter in Battlefield got banned for saying something stupid. It is actually mind-boggling to me.
Driving in my car right after